What's something weird, funny, embarrassing you've done on autopilot? Started unbuttoning and unzipping my trousers while I walked towards the toilet, just like I do at home because I'm efficient like that. Except I was at work and was walking through the shared office. Not sure if this counts as autopilot, but I was about 14 at school, and we had this classmate who had Down syndrome. He kept saying duck my sick and a bunch of us couldn't help but laugh. When time came for our teacher to do the register, she called out my name. Instead of saying here, miss, I said suck my, but managed to stop myself by slapping my hand over my mouth. People started laughing and our teacher couldn't quite make out what I said, wondering why everyone was laughing. One girl saved my ass by telling the teacher that I accidentally said here, mum, instead of here, miss. Was in college working full-time nights as a security guard and full-time class. Stopped at a red light, pushed my garage door opener and drove through. Luckily there were no cars around. Put my Bluetooth headphones in the freezer to charge. Wanted to go to work with the car, but forgot to turn the engine on. I stood there for 10 minutes trying to figure it out. A neighbor even came to help me and didn't see the problem. My dog's favorite part of the day is dinner time. I pull out her food, she starts wagging and doing the tippy taps, get a scoop of food, and instead of going to her bowl I dump the full scoop into the trash can. She then just looked at me with the saddest eyes and I felt terrible, so she got a little bit extra food and some pets. I used to work at the airport, and got used to yelling the word next please a lot. One week, I was working really long shifts, and was pretty tired. I decided to stop at McDonald's on my way home from work and went through the drive-thru. When I stopped to tell them my order, I yelled next please into the speaker. Woke up. Automatically got out of bed, got dressed, brushed my teeth, packed up my backpack, headed out of my dorm, happened to glance at the clock in the lounge. It was 1:30 AM. I once tried to zoom in on a paper when I wanted to fix a tiny detail in my drawing. I was very tired, mind you, but that was still sort of funny to me because I did it like 4 to 5 times before realizing wait, this isn't my phone. Go to check the mail, grab the keys. Oh yeah, there is garbage recycling that needs to go out. I stop at mailbox. I get mail. Throw away the garbage. Throw away the mail. Throw away my keys. Neighbor asks if I am going to need those. I just kind of stop, look around a bit and say well, yeah, probably. I'm an ex-bus driver and many times on my way home from work, I would go to pull into a bus stop in my car. That's awesome. Do you ever start driving your route by accident? Yes, I have done that too. Saying goodbye to my aunt at her husband's funeral, and accidentally said yeah it was fun, when she said thanks for coming. Put my phone under a faucet to fill up my water bottle. I recognized my mistake. And then I did it again. I was feeling an encroaching sickness coming upon me one time, so I decided to be proactive and make myself a couple of days worth of the most baller chicken soup I could manage in advance, so I'd be able to eat well even when I was dying of the lurgy. I chopped the carrots, I sauteed the onions, I stewed the chicken bones, and I cooked that mother trucker down for 8 hours into the most delicious stock you could imagine. Then I poured it all through a colander into the sink. Not me, but years ago my friend was making gravy for his meal. It had turned a bit lumpy in the saucepan, and he had the brilliant idea to just strain the lumps out. So he holds a strainer over the sink drain and pours the gravy through. Great job, he thinks, very pleased with himself because of how he had caught all the nasty lumps so effectively. Then it slowly dawned on him that his gravy was all down the sink, and he was holding a strainer full of gravy lumps. The pipe underneath my sink was broken, so I put a bucket below it to catch the water leaking out. When it was full I poured it back in the sink, and proceeded to flood my kitchen. I stepped on a Cheeto and apologized to it. One morning I was sick and stayed home from work. My wife was being really awesome and served me breakfast. Trying to show her how thankful I was, I said thanks mom. We both just stared at each other for a second then burst out laughing. I used to work on a farm and We always took our boots off before entering the homestead for meal breaks. One afternoon I absent-mindedly unbuttoned my jeans and started to take them off instead of my boots. I guess my brain decided I was done for the day. I was getting out of my car and went to take a sip of my iced coffee. Unfortunately, I put the end of my car key in my mouth instead. Always running to catch the subway after waiting at the crosswalk in front of the station. Casually walking with my friend in the same area yesterday. Started running when the cross sign lit up. He was like, WTF? I made dinner. It was some exotic chicken and rice. Wanted a drink. Poured orange juice in my chicken and rice. Tasted great though. Started to trim my beard and didn't see the guard was off. Huge swath of beard gone in one swipe. The kids still refer to me during the beardless months as creepy daddy, and I am not allowed to shave it off again. I was sitting in math class one day, and I was just humming to myself while the teacher explained something at the board. She went to turn off the projector, which is next to my desk. Then, still standing next to me, she gives me this weird look and asks, "Is something wrong?" I had been so deep in thought that I had lost the tune but kept humming. So I was now just humming along. Low HMMMMMMMM without any change in pitch. So yeah. That was embarrassing. Went to the doctor's office. Took off my jumper for a flu shot. Realized my t-shirt was on inside out. Got home. Took off my t-shirt. Realized my bra was inside out. Sigh. I work with preschoolers and we sing songs to help them wash their hands. And I started singing the same song when I went out with some friends to a bar. Edit. Thanks for the silver, friend. Edit 2. The song goes wash, wash, wash your hands. Wash them every day. Scrub, scrub, scrub the germs and wash them down the drain. To the tune of Row Your Boat. I had recently been attending a lot of marital arts classes at night. One morning at work I accidentally bowed at my boss when I entered his office. This was in the US, neither of us are of Asian descent, and yes, he noticed. It was awkward. I tried putting the milk bottle back in the microwave, then got mad when it didn't fit. I only stopped trying cause my brother was there watching and he started laughing. I used to work in a factory, starting at 6 AM, so I'd have to get out of bed around 5:15 each morning. There was one morning when I got up, had my breakfast and left as usual, drove round the corner to the garage where I would buy my lunch. It seemed a lot quieter than usual, but being half asleep myself, it only half registered. Then I got back in my car and noticed the time. I was awake 3 hours early. FML. I went home and back to bed for a couple of hours. I drove home from Phoenix to Prescott, forgetting the fact that I had moved to Flagstaff about a month prior. Got all the way to my old driveway before realizing my error. Both Prescott and Flagstaff are north of Phoenix, but are about 1.75 hours apart from each other. On the railroad, you can get verbal permission to pass a red signal or flag, either from the dispatcher or the employee who placed the red flag. You cannot under any circumstances pass a blue light or flag, because that protects employees working on under between rolling stock beyond the blue signal. Driving home in the car late one night, I decided to take a shortcut through the local university. I go around a corner and see a blue light marking a police call station. I've worked as a caregiver for adults with mental and physical disabilities for more than a decade now. I'm a caregiver. I do basic cares, which include helping many adult men do their daily activities. Things like shaving, buttoning shirts, making sure belts are on correctly, so on and so forth. Once on a date, I was a bit buzzed. I fixed my date's shirt and told him he needed to look in the mirror and see if he wanted a shave. Washed an apple at the sink. Dried it with a paper towel. Turned and tossed the apple in the trash and stood there holding the towel like an idiot. Sometimes in the shower I fill my mouth up with water and just kind of let it pour out. Was brushing my teeth standing in the bathroom one day, fully dressed before work. I just let the toothpaste pour slowly out of my mouth and onto my clothes as if I were in the shower. Now every time I brush my teeth my boyfriend warns me not to spit all over myself. I always take my shirt off after my shoes when I get undressed. So there I was at around 4:30 in the morning, headed through security to fly across country for a festival. I'm nowhere close to awake and I'm totally running on autopilot. I'm throwing my stuff on the conveyor, I take my shoes off, and I started to take my shirt off and the FFS, why was she attractive? It's lady was like, slow down sir, we just met. I didn't know they came with a sense of humor.